What's up? It's Charlotte Stevens and the Ancestors. Before we get started, like and subscribe and share this with other people because people need to know this information. I'm chronicling my ADHD / bipolar journey, but right now, this last week, I've realized I just discovered self-diagnosed my ADHD, and what is happening for me as I'm looking back at my life and I'm thinking about all of my life and reflecting on how much of my life can now be explained by this condition. So I'll give you an example. I just threw out, I want to say six partially eaten avocados. I will open an avocado, I'll eat like a quarter of it or a half of it, and I'll put it back in the fridge. I will tell myself I'm going to use this avocado tomorrow. I will completely forget about the avocado. I will open up another avocado, right? And wash, rinse, repeat. So I just threw out six avocados because once I put it away, once it's out of sight, I completely forget about it. And this is with everything in my life, including people, and explains why food rots, right? I don't do well with anything that has multiple steps. I don't do well with that either. So I'll buy a lot of raw meat and I have all these ideas of what I'm going to make with it, and I'm super excited, and I just don't have the energy or the bandwidth to cook with it, and I often forget I even have it in the fridge because it's in a drawer and I can't see it. So I always preferred takeout. I would always wait until I was starving, and then I would want my meal immediately. I never wanted to go through the steps of cooking. I would get lost in all the steps of cooking. I would burn something, I would forget something. And I would just be so agitated, irritated, frustrated with myself, with the situation. And that was just like the way I was. And it's the way my mother was. So I didn't really think it was, weird. Turns out she has ADHD too. So there's just a lot of things in my life. Like when I think about my marriage, I was married to a Capricorn. He wanted a traditional wife that was going to cook and clean and keep things organized and keep up with all the dates and all the appointments that the kids had and all of the unfair expectations that we put on wives and mothers. And I was really bad at all of that, right? I was fun. I'm full of whimsy, right? Brilliant ideas, so many brilliant ideas, right? I'm fun. Kids love me. But when it came to the day-to-day mundane responsibility, tediousness of taking care of kids, like laundry and cooking and things like that, I have a hard time remembering to do that for myself. And I thought it was, I'm just not mature. I just don't know how to adult. There's something wrong with me, but it's my ADHD. Your ADHD makes it so that everything gets your attention. And so it's hard for me to prioritize what's more important right now, right? Scrolling forever on my phone or getting up and having lunch, right? What's more important right now? Me picking up my nail polish or getting some water? And so if I didn't realize that, and I blamed myself, right? And I let my ex-husband blame me, and I let society shame me, right? Because what happens to women, and especially Black women with ADHD, especially when it's untreated, is you just internalize. You feel like a failure. I'll give you another one. I have a lot of more male friends than female friends. And I think it's because females find my traits annoying. I mean, the thing is that I feel like with ADHD, like I'm brilliant, but I'm annoying. I don't mean to be annoying. I'm not trying to annoy you, but the way that I have to self-regulate my emotions or whatever, it can be annoying to other people, right? So like, I'm very fidgety. I don't sit still in class. I don't sit still anywhere. I'm getting up. I'm on my phone. I'm doing something. I'm not just sitting there and being still. That's annoying to people. That can be annoying to people. I'm loud. I talk to myself because I literally can't hear my thoughts. If I don't, sometimes I have to say them out loud because I literally cannot hear them in my head because there's so many voices in my head, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. But it never shuts the fuck up. So sometimes I have to literally talk to myself, and I have to talk to myself to remind myself what I'm doing. So if I get up from somewhere, I have to tell myself, okay, we're walking to the other room to get a pencil. We're walking to the other room to get a pencil. Because on the way for me getting up to walking to the other room, I will be distracted. Why did I even get up, right? That's frequently my thing. Why am I here, right? My brain told me to go to the kitchen, but why? Why am I here, brain, right? All of those things I thought were just like, oh, I'm flighty, I'm spacey, I smoke a lot of weed, right? Like short-term memory loss. Yeah, some of that, right? Some of that, but it's ADHD. And my ex-husband tells me I'm always late to pick up the kids with, because we do co-parenting, and he was always like, you're always late, you're never on time, da da da. And I was in denial because I don't want to think of myself as somebody who's always late. I have no intention of always being late. I do want to be here on time. I don't want to piss you off, right? So I don't want to see myself as that, but that has been his experience of me, and I was in denial of that, and pretty much I'm always late. I'm either late or super early because I'm never, the early is because I'm paranoid, and the late, well, I'm paranoid I'm going to be late or miss it, and the late is because it literally slipped my mind. I would miss important appointments. I remember when I was pregnant, I would miss a lot of prenatal appointments, and I'd just be like, fuck, I really wanted this appointment. And that's the thing, is like, you get mad because it's not just all the people who think that you're the job interview that you're late to, and they think you don't want the job, right? The friend whose birthday that you don't remember, or whatever, or their event that you don't remember, and they think that you don't want to be their friend. So it hurts other people, it hurts relationships, it hurts them, but it also hurts you. Because you miss out on things that you really wanted to do, but you fucking forgot. And then you can really beat up yourself up because, like, you'll be like, well, I'm able to get a master's degree, or I'm able to, you know, be the #1 salesperson at my job, or whatever the case is. How come I can't remember to take the laundry out? How come I burn my food every time I cook it? How come I can't remember that I have a fucking avocado in the fridge? Like, you do this every morning. There's 6 avocados. And I can just imagine, like, my neurotypical ex-husband holding up 6 avocados and being like, this is unacceptable. This is ridiculous. We're wasting money. And it's just like, that's not helpful for the ADHD brain, because, especially for Black women, because we already feel like shit. We already feel like failures, right? We already feel like, you know, I can't succeed at things that are basic for other people. I was mentioning the tomboy aspect. Yeah, a lot of times society doesn't like, especially Black women who have ADHD characteristics. We tend to be loud. We blurt out answers. You know, we're weird. We talk to ourselves. We dance in public places. Like, we're highly visible. We're very noticeable. You can't ignore us. And so society prefers women, and especially Black women, to just kind of, like, you know, be in the peripheral, like, be quiet. So that's got me into a lot of trouble, or just disapproval, right? I had to just decide to be the non-traditional woman and live on my own terms, but people don't like that. I'll give you another example. The reason why I'm not wearing makeup right now, I don't have fucking time I don't have the patience for makeup. I don't have the patience for makeup. I can do it sometimes if I'm actually in it. That's like my fixation, or that's my focus for that day. But in general, like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, no. It's there's too many steps. It's too many steps. I'm gonna get lost along the way. I don't care that much. And then you got to take it off at the end of the day. Like, anything that has a lot of steps, there's potential for me to get lost. So what I appreciate about learning about ADHD is, like, I'm learning to have so much more compassion for myself. My daughter, whose behaviors before were getting on my nerves and I didn't understand them, now I do. And I have a lot more compassion for her. I'm starting to really understand her. And it's almost like I get to reparent myself through her. So I'll give you an example. I told her to clear the table. The table was chaotic. There was leftovers from breakfast. There was dishes. There was ingredients that I was using right now to cook for lunch. There was there were spices. There was dishes that need to go in the sink, right? There was trash on the table, like napkins. And so before, I would have been like, clear the table. Why didn't you clear the table? Da, 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 da. But she's just always like, where does this go? Like, she'll pick one thing up and be totally distracted by it, right? So the first thing she picks up is this half-eaten banana, and she's like, what do I do with this? And I'm just like, and so I was able to tell her to put the banana down. And then one thing I did is we did body doubling. Body doubling is when you do the task with the person with ADHD, so they remember what the fuck they're doing and can stay focused, right? So I gave her one step. And my first step was just pick up the trash. Just identify everything on the table that needs to be thrown away and just throw that away. So we did that. And then it was like, you know, take the trash, carry it to the trash can, put it in the trash can, right? Don't get distracted by, oh, the trash can smells like this, and oh, you threw this away, and look at that. No, stay focused, right? And then come back to the table, right? And we need that type of step by, like, breaking it down. It can't just be clear the table. It has to be like, okay. And that's the thing that happens with us at work is we get these directives. It's just like, I don't even know where you want me to start. I'm gonna get lost in the fucking minutia. So for me in my business, what this looks like, look at me, I'm skipping tangents, getting distracted. But in my business, what this looks like is me getting caught up on Canva. Canva's fun. Ooh, the dopamine hits I get on Canva, right? Oh, it feels good to just be, oh, look at all the pretty colors and I can arrange it like that. But Canva's not making me money. That's not what I need to do to make my business like go, but I can get caught up in Canva. That's my dopamine hit. That's my minutia that I can get caught up in. And it's like, no. So then after we did the trash, I had her like identify all the dishes that need to go in the sink, right? Put all the spices away. So being able to break it down like that worked, right? She felt successful. I was able to body double with her. I was able to have more compassion. I'll give you another example. In the morning, I know I need to get up and eat a high protein breakfast, and I know I need to go on my walk, but I will get so distracted by my phone because, you know, you can scroll forever, right? And be posting forever. In my business, a lot of times I can do it straight from my phone. So I'll get so distracted on my phone. Hours will go by and I have not done anything I needed to do to take care of my mental health, right? So that's the thing about having ADHD is you can have the most brilliant, customized, quote unquote, foolproof self-care plan and you will forget to use it. You'll forget to look at it. You'll get caught up in all the distractions because, you know, it requires me to get out of bed. But the thing is with your phone is you can access the whole world from your bed. So like there's times when like I'm just lost in my bed, in my phone, and I am losing track of everything, right? Like, oh, you're gonna run out of daylight hours, or this place is gonna close, or you have this appointment. So when I was able to get up today and eat my breakfast. So first of all, I had to remember that I bought myself some yogurt, right? Because I buy foods and then I forget about them. So I was like, okay. And I think I was watching something and then it reminded me, oh, yogurt, okay. So I saw that I remembered that I had yogurt and then I remembered, okay, you wanted to add walnuts to your yogurt. I was gonna add flaxseed and chia seed, but I forgot, right? I forgot. But I did add blueberries and walnuts are really good for the ADHD brain. So I was like, look at me, right? But then I made the bowl and the bowl sat there for like 35 minutes, right? And I had this reoccurring timer on my phone that said eat protein, right? So that kept going off and then I would snooze it and it would go off. So it kept reminding me because you know, the snooze is very helpful because I'm just gonna forget. And I forgot about the alarm, right? But the alarm kept going off until I was finally like, okay, eat it's right there. Just get the bowl and put it, you know, put the food in your mouth. And then even though I like all those foods, I wasn't really wanting to eat them. I was like, I don't really want this, but I told myself, but you really need it. And it's so easy. It's like 6 repetitions of spoon to mouth and then we're done, right? Like, come on, we can do this. So after I was able to do all of those steps, I was able to really recognize how much effort my life has been in the past where I didn't recognize how hard it was for me to complete those steps, all the steps I completed in the past. And now when I do that, when I complete, like just eating breakfast, just eating a high protein breakfast and remembering I had yogurt, remembering having, you know, to eat the blueberries that were going bad, but I caught some of them, and the walnuts, right? But remembering to eat that, I was like, look at you, I'm so proud of you, right? Good job. And we have to stop and say good job for things as simple as making breakfast, which can seem like, can everybody do that? But it's like, I now know that no, you know, my brain is different. And for other people, what I understand is your brain gives you a dopamine hit, which means you get a like little happy feeling every time that other people do things that they're supposed to do in order to take care of themselves. Like you get up and brush your teeth, you get a dopamine hit. You go make breakfast and eat it, you can get a dopamine hit. That doesn't happen for people with ADHD. And so we have to add the fun. We have to bring in the fun. It's something about it has to be enjoyable. We can't just clean the house because it needs to be clean. We have to put on music and dance. We can't just, you know, make dinner or make food. It has to be food that's interesting. If it's a new recipe, maybe we're trying out something and it's innovative, right? Otherwise our brain's not engaged, right? Another example of this was when I had math class in high school, I could not get through class if I didn't have a snack because I didn't care for math. I wasn't interested. This class is fucking boring, right? Like there's no debate. There's no opportunity for me to flirt. Like I can't engage. Like you just want me to stare at you and write down equations. Like, I'm so bored, right? And if I don't have something to entertain myself, I'm gonna distract everybody, which I did a lot of that. I passed a lot of notes in math class. So back in the day, y'all, you couldn't just text people. So I passed a lot of notes and distracted a lot of people. But if I had a snack, if I had M&Ms, so it couldn't just be a snack that was all one color, right? If the M&Ms had all been like one color, I'd be bored. But having a pack of M&Ms all the different colors. I would arrange them by colors. Oh, there's that many reds and that many blues, and then slowly eat them throughout class. So as I'm doing the damn equations, oh, I'm gonna eat a blue M&M, oh, now I'm gonna eat this, right? So that constant hit of snacking and dopamine, now I can listen to whatever boring ass thing you want me to listen to. It's the same thing, I think, with a reason why we doodle in meetings, or we, you know, there's something that we have to be doing that is gonna keep our brain. It's almost like how you have to get you have to sit your kid in front of the TV, right? So I'll leave you alone. My brain needs some of that. Give me something low level stimuli that's going to give me the dopamine hits that will allow me to engage in this thing that's super boring. Because what happens with people with ADHD is that if we're not interested, we can't engage. We'll look like, you know, we'll look like we're listening, but we are somewhere far away in our beautiful, brilliant minds that are so imaginative, right? We are thinking about all kind of things, but we are not listening. And we're usually bright enough that we can catch enough clues, right? And fill in the blanks. The neurodivergent mind is relatively good at that, or can be good at that, of filling in the blanks. And so that's generally how we get by, but it's a lot of fucking effort. It's a lot of